What's going on, people? It's Mr. back again. I hope everyone's fit and well. And yes, it's the review from today's game. This is your chance for you Forest fans, Brentford fans, football fans to come in and have your little say on what happened today. I've got two Nottingham Forest fans coming in today. I've got the usual man, Lee Tilton, who just talk a lot. So we'll get his thoughts as well. And we've got as well Des Oldham as well. He's got a YouTube channel as well. So if you want to subscribe to it, the link is below. And when he comes on, he will explain his channel as well. But yeah, people comment below in the comment section as well. What was it like? How did you feel about today's performance? I feel it was a bit downbeat, but like I said, I'm gonna get Lee and Des on and get their views from today's game. Hello, Lee. Hello, Des.
Hello, guys. You okay?
You know, I don't know where to start. Lee, we'll start with you, Lee. What was your thoughts on the game today?
I think it was quite similar to Norwich in a way, wasn't it? Really started off really slowly. I don't think until Taylor had that volley on the stroke of half time, I don't think we really threatened, did we? Or maybe sort of 5 minutes before then. And then the second half was all us. They were on the counter, and I think there's no doubt that goal that was disallowed from Knockaert certainly changed the outcome of the game, because it's all of a sudden, if that counts, it's 1-1, and if we could have carried on in the same ascendancy, obviously could have gone either way. So that was definitely a big talking point, and I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard a couple of people saying it was very, very tight.
Hit Lee and Doug. Here's the stats for today. Can you see the stats from today's game?
Yeah.
Like 6 on target, 6 on goal. Where do you think? Let me say for Des. Des, like, before we move on, Des, what was your opinion on the game today?
Well, I tend to agree with Lee, Ben. It was pretty much like the Norwich game. It's been pretty much like many games so far this season. But what I slightly disagree on is the second half performances. I don't think they're as great as people are saying. I think these teams were playing a good side and are managing the game out a little bit better than what. Like last season under Lamucci, we needed to manage some games out and we didn't quite do it, at the end of the season. And I think these good sides are just have watched Forest and realised that we've not got that much going forward, have we? Of course, we equalised. Well, we thought we'd equalised, and we might have gone on from there. The Championship being the Championship and what it is, we might have gone on and won the game, and it would have looked a whole lot better. But I'm just really frustrated because we can't get into these games to start with, and until a side's got a lead, and then they almost not sit back, but they just sort of manage the game out a bit better. We're never going to break them down, it seems.
Lee, as you know, talking about Taylor, do you think we miss Lewis Grabban?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I'm a big Grabban fan, and I know he was coming in for a bit of stick at the start of the season, but he fed off scraps last season and he ended up with 20 goals. You take him out of the team now and you see how much we miss him. And I know they say we aren't creating a lot of chances, but when if he'd been there, it's different because he does make clever runs, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And, he does make clever runs. That Watford game, we were the better team. I don't think we had a shot on target, did we? But we were the better team. But there was balls flashing across the box, and I think if you've got Grabban in there, it could have been a different outcome, and it gives Taylor a bit more support, so it totally changes the game.
Would you like? I think we played a game. What game was it? It was Derby. Like, we played 2 up front. Would you play 2 up front?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Would you?
But I think he's tried, because I think he's tried it, hasn't he, with Guerrero for a couple of games. Like Barnsley was another game. It was the game just after that, maybe, or just before that, maybe before the inside. I don't think it's quite worth. I don't think he's that keen on Guerrero. I'm not. I mean, I'm not too keen on him myself.
He played the thing with Guerrero. I think he played one good game, and that was against. Was it Coventry?
He's all right. Yeah, he's all right. But I mean, we've seen, haven't we, though, that according to the infamous Danny Taylor, that he was offered to Lamouchi 3 times. Lamouchi didn't want him at all, but he was basically told, "You're having him," and that's that.
You say there, Lee, about the Norwich game. I think what was interesting, not the Norwich, the Watford game, we did play well. I was a bit more optimistic after that game, but I think that all stemmed from the centre of the midfield. You know, it felt like, although it was Cafu's first game, and he seemed to play a lot more forward, he seemed to be retreating further and further back, and it felt like we had Yates in the holding role, and it felt like we had two sort of moving forward, moving wide. Whilst it still weren't coherent and fantastic, they were getting further up the pitch, and it was supporting Taylor. Taylor's coming in for a lot of stick. Grabban came in for a lot of stick before. But I think it's that position that's key, because when we've got Sal and Colback and Yates, they're almost getting clustered. And it almost helped the back four as well, because they knew exactly where to be. They didn't have that added protection.
Yeah.
So they weren't resting on their laurels, and Figueiredo's coming for a lot of stick, probably rightly so. But that game in particular, it was absolutely fantastic in that second half.
Yeah.
And I think
that was Worrell's first game back, wasn't it? Was that Worrell's first game back?
Yeah. And they lined up like they did last season almost, you know, in that sort of shape, with one in front, Colback. It was probably Colback's better game before, or he might have gone off in that game, I can't remember. But they just all seemed to know where they were in it. There was passages through to the wing, passages into Taylor. Like you say, flashing across. He's still got to do probably a bit more in that situation. But I think
it was Cafu, wasn't it? Yeah, the ball got flashed across the 6-yard box in front of Trent's end, wasn't it? And he was just, it wasn't quite Gazzy or 96, but he was just almost.
Yeah.
And you could think maybe if Grabban had been in there, a bit of a fox in the box, and it could have been different. And I think Grabban and Taylor actually could be a really good mix, because Grabban comes in for a bit of stick, doesn't he? That he doesn't work hard enough, he doesn't move enough. Well, Taylor certainly moves a bit, but probably isn't as clinical.
I like Taylor. I
love Taylor. I think Taylor's fantastic. He's probably not as clinical as Grabban. Yeah, so they could complement each other well.
Because like for Taylor, like his energy and the way he comes across, like I love him. But question is, lads, I'm talking about one player. He came off half time, Joe Lolle. I'm talking about Des. What do you think of Joe Lolle's first half performance?
Today it wasn't very good, and generally this season it's not been fantastic, has it? But I was listening back to one of these yesterday from last week, and Matt, the guy, is a big Joe Lolle fan, and I'm also a massive Joe Lolle fan. And I think what they almost need to do with Joe Lolle is just go back to basics. You know, stick him in his position. If you're going to move anybody else, because what we did last season, and I think this is ultimately what cost us, we relied too much on Joe Lolle. When Joe Lolle's in form, Forest are in form. You know, I remember the Luton game, he was badly out of form, and he stuck one in the top corner just after half time, and it changed for him like that. And I think he's got to play in his position. Or I've almost suggested before, play him in the number 10 role. Just let him have a free reign, you know. And if you've got a manager who's got his arm around him, he knows he's playing, you know, he knows his position. And I think he's brought in Knockout, and players have got to be professional. Players have got to do the job, but and they've got to fight for the plays. But we know some players react differently, and I think if he's in there and he's doing his job, you know, as he's supposed to be doing it, it'll come back. Joe Lolle's a player, isn't he? You know, and once a goal goes in, once a 30-yarder goes in, I do see it changing at some point, just on a Joe Lolle goal or I'm not a massive fan of Arthur at the moment, but a 30, that's what we need to go 1-0 up.
Arthur's been a big disappointment for me. Arthur, really, really disappointed.
Sorry, I'm just going to bring another Forest fan in Stephen Brown. He's from Wales, and I think he wants to come in as well. Hello, Stephen.
Hello.
Hello. Right, Stephen, this is Des and this is Lee. We're talking about today's game. We're talking about Joe Lolly. Did you watch the game today?
Yeah.
How did you feel about Lolly played first half?
I think he's wearing the wrong shoes. He's just slipping all the time. He just can't get going. He's like he's running treacle. He's just in slow motion. He can't beat the man anymore. I just don't know what's wrong with him, to be honest with you. He's just lacking confidence, I think.
Quick, I don't know if either of you seen Joe Worrell's interview at the end of the game?
No.
You've not seen it, Lee? Have you seen it, Des? Have you seen it, Des?
Yeah. I just heard it not long ago, and I think there was a real crucial point in the end of that. He's obviously not happy, and he said it's rubbish, which is quite telling anyway. But he made a point about none of them are friends, which I find
it's true.
Amazing. But last season under Lamucci, when we was winning at Brentford and when we was beating Leeds, they looked like this real togetherness, this real team spirit. And without getting into the real deep issues of the club, I think that's what's created this sort of divide, and it's the bigger problem.
Do you think we got too big of a squad then?
Pardon?
Do you think the squad is too big?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's too many players.
Yeah, I think before you came on, I mentioned that players have got to fight for the position. They've got to sort of earn their place. But we know, like human nature, they're going to worry when somebody comes in. They're going to feel threatened and worry about it. And I think it's just upset. It's upset the squad as it was. Without Matt Cash was a big character. And it seems he's gone, and Ben Watson. And now it's just nobody's linked into each other. Nobody sort of relates.
They're two massive losses, aren't they? Ben Watson. I mean, Ben Watson. You realise how good he was when you take him out of the team this season.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Michaela Cookson, she's mentioned the team is not a team, or body language says it all. Do you agree with a comment?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, but also I heard something in midweek. I think it was Brian Laws was talking, saying that when you bring in 14 players, obviously the situation that we're in, the players are having to train and then go straight home, so they can't build up any team bonding. They can't do any team bonding exercises that you'd probably do with a team through the season, because of the COVID issue.
Yeah,
so that's probably played a part of it, in terms of trying to get some togetherness.
Question for Des. As you know, Figueiredo, he got booked and he's now suspended for Sheffield Wednesday. We've got players like Dawson and I think the French guy Sissel. Who would you?
And Knockout's out, isn't he now?
Knockout's out as well. Yeah, but so start with defence. Like, who would you replace first? Who would put in the team? Dawson or Sal?
Dawson.
Isn't Dawson injured though? They said on the radio today.
Is he injured?
He was just left out today.
Do you know what, Ben? I had a conversation sort of through my Facebook feed about what, like, the bigger problem, and if a new manager come in, now think of Harry Redknapp and Neil Warnock and what they do if they come into a club and it was on its arse like Forest is right now. Yeah. They start at the back and they get experience in. I remember Warnock went into Cardiff and he put Sol Bamba in. He was probably past it in everyone's eyes, and then he becomes his key man. And I think at this point right now, I actually made the point on Facebook about Dawson with his Zimmer frame is probably a bit better than Figueiredo for marking.
Oh, that's harsh, man. Like, my opinion.
I'm a Figueiredo fan. I am a Figueiredo fan, and I think his problem is to do with outside influence and the way they've treated him within the club. But and he's had some good games recently when he's took a lot of stick, but he's had a couple of absolute shockers as well. And I feel his heart's not quite in it. And like we see with Ribeiro, when they messed him about the first game of the season, he did that run back last season against Swansea where it was on YouTube and he ran the length of the pitch like a madman. Yeah. You're not going to get that from him now because they messed him about. Yeah. They've messed him about. And whilst he's got to be professional, anybody who's been messed about like that, and I think Figueiredo's been the same, you're not going to get that level of commitment. They're going to do what they have to do. Do you know, they're not Forest fans like us. They don't. It don't burn through them.
Listen to me, and this is my opinion. If people in the comment section, if you disagree with me or these lads, Forest fans on social media are the most fickle fans on Twitter, Facebook, and they are, because I'm sick of, like, I saw on Twitter this morning about, I don't. What's your opinion about people saying hooting out, blah blah? What's your opinion on hooting, Lee?
I thought he would have, with 14 games, 3 wins. I thought he would have made more of an impact. But then again, I think he's not an impact manager, is he? He builds for the long term.
Yeah.
So you've almost got to write this season off now. I think. I personally don't think we'll go down. What I'm not worried about going down. I'm more disappointed that we're not going to be going up. But I think if we can just build something this season, some momentum in the second half of the season, and go again next season. But I wouldn't be questioning the manager in the slightest.
What about you, Des?
He was a good, solid appointment, and I think if they're going to stick with him, if they are going to stick with him, keep him in place. One concern I've got, Ben, is the interviews. You know, and if you listen to Radio Nottingham after the game, it was a bit uninspiring. You know, it was. They asked him about changing the team, and he says, "I don't want to ruin the." I can't remember the word, cohesion or whatever he said. I thought, well, we're getting beat every single week.
Yeah, I think you know what it is. I think
it's not again.
You know what, I spoke to I don't remember Lee might remember as well, Malcolm, and it's a bad habit losing, and now it's like 6 defeats or 7 defeats in 6 defeats in 7
games, 6 defeats in 7, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just a bad habit that it's hard to get out. First, ask you, Stephen. What do you think of Houghton? Do you think he's the man to stay up for us, or do you think it's a time to change?
Yeah, I would definitely give him January anyway. January to see if he can get his own players in. I mean, get some players out. But my worry is that there's quite a few egos there that you need to ship out coming on big wages.
Who do you think that'd be? Who do you think it is?
I don't know. There's a few rotten apples there, I think, that's causing divides in that dressing room. I think Warren knows. Who do I think? I think some of the lads just touched it now. Figueiredo, I think, wants to go.
He wants to go.
I have heard rumours.
He wants to go back to Portugal.
Yeah, I have heard rumours that Grabham wants to go as well.
Right, lads, this is about Lewis Grabham, right? Like, I think, personally, right, this is my opinion. I think he's a fantastic striker. I think he's 33, 34 now. I think he wanted to go, didn't he?
Yeah. I think he wants one last payoff, maybe, doesn't he?
He wants to move to Qatar. That's right, good. Yeah. That league in Qatar, yeah.
Yeah, Lamouchi, yeah.
Yeah, if Grabham does go, like I know we brought in 14 or 15 players in, do you think we should buy a player on loan or permanent, or someone from Championship?
Jordan Rhodes.
Don't say that to Malcolm. Malcolm will get angry.
Jordan Rhodes, 100%. I think he'd fit in. I think him and Taylor would be outstanding together.
What about you, Des? Who do you think Forest should bring in for a striker?
It's not a bad call, Jordan Rhodes. He's not the player he used to be, but of course it's going to be a rotational kind of thing. It's going to be bottom end of the table, so it won't be a bad call. I'd bring in someone.
What I would say is Rhodes is no good as a lone striker, so he would only be worth signing if he was definitely going to play 2 up top. If he's not going to play 2 up top, no point.
The game, like Stephen Fletcher last year, when we got stuck 4-0. Them two were fantastic up front together, weren't they?
Yeah, but he doesn't work. He doesn't work hard enough, Rhodes, so he'd be no good leading the line on his own. But as a finisher, he's deadly. But that's what I mean. You've got Taylor to do the workload, so there'd be a perfect combination for me.
Well, that's my only issue with Grabham. You know, just sometimes I am a fan. He is a good player, a top player in the Championship. The issue is those he could finish sometimes and kill games off. Derby last year would never have manifested into what it did if he'd have stuck another one away. And, you know, and I think, personally, on Grabham, I don't think he'll play for Forest again.
I agree.
I don't think he'll play again.
I think he won't, I think he's gone.
Oh, well, That's crazy. Stephen, what striker do you think Forest will bring in?
Jordan Rhodes is a good shout. Yeah, at least he won't score against us then, won't he?
Hey, we're playing them, aren't we, this week?
Yeah,
so
yeah. That's a good question. What I would say, I think we definitely need someone in that number 10 role just to do something.
Oh no! Listen, mate.
I don't know. We just lack.
Everyone talks about this number 10. Like, we had
we just lack spark.
And he didn't start as many games. You had Thiago Silva. He done 4 goals, 4 assists, and he wants to go. Now we've got Luke Friedman. He's injured now, but he wasn't really getting a game. He's not had a really chance under Houghton. It's just, do you really think we need another number 10 just to come in, just for the sake of it?
I think we just lacked that spark, I think. Did you notice the game today? Amiobi started running at them with a bit of pace, direct. It just upped the pace of the game, and that's what we lack. We just don't seem to attack teams. It's just frustrating.
I just seen a comment about we're chasing Pierre-Van Hooydonk's son.
Yeah.
Does anyone know who he is?
No.
I don't know who he is, but he'd have to run him because he wouldn't last very long, would he?
This the guy we are chasing. I haven't got a clue. I thought you lot might know. In the comments, does anyone know who this guy Pierre-Van Hooydonk's son?
Does he go on strike at all?
He meant to have a good record in the Dutch league, and
is he good on free kicks?
Corners, throw-ins.
Oh, dude. Just, I don't know. Like, I don't really think we need a striker. I think we need.
We could sign Kevin Campbellson from Stoke, and we could play Campbell and Van Hooijdonk up front.
Yeah. Kevin Campbell, I love Tyrese Campbell to come to Nottingham Forest, but
yeah, he'd be superb.
Would you replace Samba in goals?
Well, that's another topic. That's another topic I like to want you lot to talk about as well. People in the comments as well. What do you think? Would you replace Bruce Samba for Jordan Smith? Let me tell Lee. Would you replace Samba for Smith?
No, I'd stick with Samba. I don't think he did a lot wrong today, did he? Really?
Yes, he did. The third goal.
He did a couple of.
The third goal.
Yeah, I was watching and cooking at that point. I didn't really see the third goal. I mean, he did make he made a couple of handy saves when it was only 1-0, didn't he? That kept us in it. But
yeah, I saw on social media I think I saw it last week. I think it was Team of the Century, and Samba was in it, and then. I think goalkeepers will always be in it because, like I said, he's in goal and he's one to keep clean sheets. Des, would you think Forest would need to get a goalkeeper in January, or would you bring in Smith to replace Samba?
I tell you what, Ben, I'm a massive Jordan Smith fan, and I think he got a hard time from Mark Warburton because of his kicking. That's basically what. His confidence got shot because of that. I think he's a fantastic shot stopper, like Samba is. And whilst I think he's a good keeper, I don't think he's a replacement for Samba. As much as Samba has made 1 or 2 errors, again, that lack of confidence is running through the team, isn't it? Another guy who loves an arm around him again. He loves the defence jumping all over him and sort of patting him on the back. He's absolutely fantastic in a good side, and yes, he's got to make these saves. So I'd stick with him. I'd look to try and build the defence, like possibly when Dawson and McKenna are first choice, get them to be filling in with confidence, using their experience to sort of bring him back into make him an important player of the team again, because he feels like he's a bit like the Reading goal, for example. He's just away with it a little bit, isn't he? He should have come for that ball. And today, that third goal was abysmal, wasn't it?
Would any of you blame for the defence? I said, Joe Bowles come out and said it was horrible. Everyone can blame the goalkeeper because Samba's the one that keeps clean sheets. But I don't know. It just baffles me with Samba was goalkeeper of the century. Would you start against Sheffield Wednesday? Anyone's?
Yeah, I think you've got to stick with him. I personally, again, I wasn't. I didn't. I did think he was we were going a bit overboard on him at times though last season. Some of the saves he made were a little bit. They were like for the cameras, but everyone was going, "Oh, what an amazing save!" And you think, well, he's made a bit of a meal of it. I all summer I said I'd like to seen us go for Jack Butland from Stoke.
Yeah,
He was looking to move on, and not that Samba's awful, but I think Butland would have been an improvement, and you should always be looking to try and improve every area if you can. And he was available.
What about Kieran Westwood? Was it Kieran Westwood from Sheffield Wednesday?
Sheffield Wednesday.
What?
You know what? He's a good goalkeeper. I spoke to a Sheffield Wednesday fan, and he's like I said, he can't get the team, and because he's got a bad attitude. So if you think about it, if he comes to Forest with bad attitude, and we've already got people at Forest with bad attitudes, do you think he'll fit?
Well, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because I think with Samba, with managers, they normally have their goalkeeper. It's one of them players that positions on the pitch where the manager they tend to follow managers around a little bit. And it just feels like for me that Samba is not necessarily Houghton's choice. Well, he's obviously not because Lamouchi signed him. Lamouchi never said a bad word about him. This season, you're hearing a few things from Houghton that are saying, well, he's not my goalkeeper, do you know what I mean? And potentially going forward, his position is under real threat. Someone like Westwood, we don't know the people, the personalities, but Westwood's a great keeper.
He's a fantastic keeper, but I think he had an attitude problem, a massive attitude. Before we carry on, we've got a Derby fan here, Lisa Howard. She's piping up as usual. So how you doing, Lisa? She's a Derby fan. She always gives me grief every single time when Forest lose. Next, like I said, we've got a massive game against Sheffield Wednesday. Knockout out with Spencer. What player would replace him what player would replace him? Des.
I think Lawley will go slot back in, won't he? Lawley will start.
No. After today,
I think he will. I would give Mighton a chance. I think we need pace.
Yeah, I'd like to see Mighton given a chance.
I need Mighton. He's not had a chance. Even Swan. Would you any of you bring Swan in?
Yeah, why not?
Only with Taylor, just because I wouldn't, like I said in last week's review. I think it would be harsh to put a youngster in on his own, leading the line on his own.
I think Lee touched on something earlier about Guerrero and Houghton. He doesn't seem to be Houghton's choice, but he's obviously not. But there was a game just after half time where you could hear Houghton shout at Guerrero. He just like, come on, and then he took him off about 2 seconds later and put Swan on. And I think he's almost using Swan to make a point and say, I've got nothing here. Again, it relates into the Grabham situation. I think, but you're right, Lee, if he does play Swan, he's got to go in with Taylor. The Reading game, they almost hung him out to dry a little bit. At 2-0, a youngster, we can't score with an experienced striker. To throw a youngster in there at 2-0 down, I think was
25 minutes to go as well, wasn't there? So it was always going to be a clutching at straws there.
Next question, as everyone knows about what's happening behind the scenes. When Forest lost today, Daniel Taylor from Athletic, he's piped up again regarding what's happening behind the scenes. Has any of you read it? You read it last week?
Yeah.
Let me start with Lee. What do you think of Daniel Taylor's article and what is happening behind the club?
Well, it's obviously, I don't think he'd make it up. I mean, he's a Forest fan, isn't he? And he's worked for he's done pieces in the programme probably up until today. But it's obviously going on. But I don't think it's well. I think it's important, but I don't think it's got anything to do with the results because it was going on last season when we were doing well. It goes on at Newcastle all the time. It's been going on at Newcastle for years. So it probably goes on at a lot of clubs. I think Wolves it's probably gone on at Wolves, but they've gone upwards. So they're always going to get this meddling and stuff like that. But I think if Chris Hughton didn't, ended up walking because of it, I'd be worried then. But at the moment, I think it's just probably it looks worse because we're on this bad run.
Do you think this is for you, Des? If Forest was in there playing good, do you think Dan Taylor would have got this out? Have you read it, Des?
I have, yeah.
What's your opinion?
I was waiting to read it because I think that the article doesn't really tell us anything we didn't know. It confirmed things that we've heard on the grapevine. And it felt a little bit strange. The timing of the article does feel a little bit strange. It feels like it's been put out there with a purpose. I don't know Dan Taylor. I don't know. I know he's a great journalist and he likes pieces. But it does seem a little bit strange in terms of the timing and this stuff. What was striking for me about that article is he didn't mention anybody still in the club. He very briefly touched around Yuri Ribeiro and Figueiredo and one or two things with the hierarchy and the structure. But he didn't mention anybody still in position. Even when he was talking about Championship managers, he mentioned Eddie Howe and Sam Allardyce, and he said another in position. And I thought it's interesting because there's obviously still more to come. And I wonder if that's you asked the question, Ben, about in putting it out today and what's the reasoning for that. Is it because there's still more to come? There's still more to hear about this situation, and I'm really, really worried that there is a lot more to come, and there's so much we don't know, which is causing a problem within the manager, the playing staff, and there's no cohesion, is there? There's no. Well said. There's no friends,
Steve, have you read the article?
Yeah.
What's your opinion on it? If no one knows who basically, like I've seen a picture of Dan Taylor, the main culprit that he's been after is the Forest CEO who is here. Ventros. He's the guy. He's the CEO of Nottingham Forest, and that's most of he spoke about as well. He mentioned about Randall as well not being the chairman, and I want to put out there, Johnny Owen's at the back of him, behind him. Some people on social media have gone for Johnny Owen, and Johnny Owen is one of the nicest guys I've ever met. That's my opinion. What people think? I won't talk about everyone else. Johnny Owen is a media director. People going for him is wrong. The guy
he does the what's his name, doesn't he? He does the Red Dogs podcast.
And it's just ridiculous how people go for him. But people need to know the background of Johnny Owen. Like I say, he's a fantastic guy that does fantastic work for Nottingham Forest. But the guy that Daniel Taylor has mentioned is Ventros. And I want to mention to you, Des, what's your opinion on the CEO?
Like most people, until this article came out, I didn't know a great deal about him. I consider myself a massive Forest fan like you guys, but the reality is we didn't need to know about him, did we? We didn't have a clue. No. And we all I live very local to the ground, so I happened to sort of see Johnny Owen and the chairman about, locally, and it all looked well, it all looked good, sort of before and after the game, and just since this article, we've heard about Ventros, we've heard the shouting above the. I think we could hear it today on the game, the shouting above the commentary, and the aggression. He just seems like an aggressor, doesn't he? And he's stomping around the place, upsetting people. And we've been here before, haven't we? We've been here before. We've seen it, and we know how it ends. So it should be no surprise.
I think the timing's coming a bad. I don't know. With us in such a bad run, I don't know. It's just put the two together. It just doesn't smell right to me. The whole article just didn't sit right with me.
A question from Ben, and I mentioned it. I'll give it to Lee. He said, "What the hell is Christie playing week in, week out at the Wells? What do you think about Christie, and would you replace him?"
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what Jenkinson's done to not get a game, because for me he's always been a good solid player whenever he's played, whenever he's come in. I mean, we signed him as our original right back, didn't we? And it was only because Matty Cash did so well. So for me, I don't really think we needed to buy another right back. Anyway, we could have gone with Jenkinson and then had DoreOnTour as a backup. And I would have had Jenkinson in the team now a good few games ago. I can't understand. He's too hit and miss, Christie. He'll play really good one game, and then he'll have 3 poor games, and then he'll have another really good game. And I'd 100%. I'd have Jenkinson in.
I think what happens with him, Lee, is the fact that I think in a good side, a top of the table side, he'd look a lot better player. He's good going forward. He can put a good ball in. I think he set one up for Taylor a few games ago to score at the back post. And I think when you're in a side where the team's on the front foot playing forward and your fullbacks are high up the pitch, he'd look a completely different player. And that's the teams he's played in. He's played at Borough, Derby.
Mitrovic up front at Fulham last season. He's not a bad target, is he?
Taking him on Mitrovic's head, and now he's been asked to defend, and defending is not his thing. He's a right back, and primarily that could be his job, but he can't do it. He can run past and he uses his position.
There's a Derby fan who lives near me actually, and as soon as we signed Christie, I bumped into him and he said, he's a bad egg. He played well for us, and then he wanted a contract. He didn't get a contract, and caused a load of trouble. And I mean, I can see there's the least of the Derby fans commenting here, so whether she would back that up, but I don't know. When you're talking about rotten apples before, I mean, I don't know. But
I've got a Derby friend, and he said when we signed him, he said he'll make good runs, but then he'll overhit the cross every time.
There's another player that is not had a chance, and there's a question from do you think DoreOnTour deserve a chance over Christie or Jenkins?
I like DoreOnTour. I think he's a good player.
Why do you think he's not getting? Why do you think he's not getting a game? Do you think?
Well, he just keeps playing Christie, doesn't he? I mean, why isn't Jenkinson getting a game? I'd have Jenkinson over DoreOnTour, I must say. But that's not. No, I don't think DoreOnTour is a bad player by any stretch. But
we've not seen him for a long time now, have we? He's been injured, and it would be good to see him in the first team again. Whether, of course, we haven't got cup games at the minute, but whether an FA Cup game coming up or something like that, just to give him a run out and have a look again, because I think he was signed as a Premier League player, wasn't he? So he's obviously got ability. Again, there's a few murmurings, isn't there, about stuff going on behind the scenes with him and the bomb squad, as they talk about. You know,
I've had enough of that bomb squad.
But if he's in there, he's not coming back.
The bum squad, more like.
Bum squad, more like a bit club. Ridiculous. Lads, so where do we go from here? Like I said, we've got another tough game against Sheffield Wednesday. This is for all three of you. What players would you take out after today's performance? We'll start with Lee. You, Lee.
I'd have Jenkinson in for Christie. And what about McKenna? How long is he out for? Because when he went out, he said, it's only a slight knock, didn't he?
He's out. He's not playing against Wednesday on Tuesday.
Right. So I'd say you'd have to bring Dawson in then for Figueiredo. I'd play Mighton. I'd maybe take Amiobi out and put Lolly back in and play Mike to start.
Lolly was rubbish.
I know, but we do know though that he has got it in his locker.
Yeah, Lolly would work.
And he played well against Norwich midweek, and I wouldn't give up on Lolly. He's got us out of it a lot over the last couple of years. And
you know what? I remember his best game that he's played for was. Remember, you and me went to that game, Lee, Brentford away. That when he played that as a number 10.
Yeah.
Why can't you keep saying about we need a number 10, blah blah blah.
Well, could he do that then and play Mighton and Amiobi on the wings and Lolly behind Taylor? That's something to consider.
I think it's
Cafu must be due to come out because he's played every game, hasn't he, lately?
Well, this is a quick question, right? I remember everyone kept banging on about Cafu played fantastic against Watford, and since then he's gone missing.
Yeah.
And there's other players as well with Jack Colback. I think I'm a critic for Jack Colback coming back to the Forest. Since he's been injured, he's not been playing well. Do you think we miss Jack Colback in that team?
Not on current form.
No.
Would you not put him in?
I would.
Colback didn't come back the same player.
We should have signed Henry Lansbury and had a bit of flair in midfield.
Right, Lee, you're going. Right, you're going. You know what got my nerves right? Some guy messaged me, DM me to, I think we need Henry Lansbury. I thought, I'm not Lee Tilson. Go to Lee Tilson, go to him. Because, right, the question for you, Des and Stephen. Lee, he loves Henry Lansbury. Would you bring him back in Forest team?
I wouldn't bring Henry Lansbury back in particular, but I'd bring a player back like Henry Lansbury. Do you know, somebody who's got a bit of
something different to what we've got.
I'd use that midfield role, that forward-thinking midfield role as a number 10. You know, of course, not on the same level, but the Mason Mount type player, Maddison, somebody who can get the ball. Is not going to do too much running back. We've got those players in there. You know, we've got all those holding players, and somebody just to. I was never a massive fan of Lansbury. I'm with you, Ben, on this one. But you know, the more you talk about it now, the more you think about it. Is that the kind of player we possibly need?
He could pass a ball. You know, I just think we've got Sow, Arter, Colback, Yates, even Cafu is predominantly supposed to be. We've got so many defenses, so many stoppers. Who's in midfield that's got a little bit of guile? Somebody who will look for a pass. And I think if you put Lansbury alongside any of those, you've got a little bit more balance. Or somebody like a Lansbury, you've got a bit more balance. Why are we playing two defensive midfielders? Well, really, we haven't got anyone else to play in midfield. They're all defensive midfielders.
What about Freeman though? Like Ben just mentioned about.
I think he's overweight.
Well,
he looks overweight to me.
Yeah, he looks overweight. He needs to lose about a stone.
There's a problem. I remember Lamucci wanted Freeman in last January, and it's just
My point about Lansbury is he's a cracking player, but I'd have to be sure about his attitude coming back to the club.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, because you mentioned earlier about the attitude of the dressing room. Would you want to add to that again with a bad apple if he's coming back with a kind of ego?
He's older now, isn't he? He's captained Villa a few times. He's a bit older, and maybe he could have changed, and coming back somewhere where he's been and appreciated. Maybe a lot of players that leave Forest, they do appreciate the club. I think you look at how many come back and they speak glowingly of it, having left and gone somewhere else. The likes of Reed has talked about it, and Dawson and Jennings, and I don't know.
Sorry, Ben. Sorry. You asked me about the striker earlier. Would anyone take a punt on Billy Sharp?
I think I would. Taylor
I know he's older, but
Taylor works hard, and he's a fox in the box, isn't he? He's the guy who's going to hang around the penalty spot, goal hanger, and stick in some of that hard work from Taylor. I think that's not a bad shout either.
There's another question I want to ask you. Like I said, we brought in 14 players, and Luke has mentioned about where is it? Is it production? Like where is he? And we've got that the third choice keeper as well that we brought in. Like, where's all these players? Like
the bomb squad.
They're in the bomb squad. The bomb squad.
It's mad. It's like there's no question from Alan. Ben, we've all been around the country, and so to say, but I'm glad my wasting money traveling around watching no passion, no commitment. We'll go through the motions and gutted that the manager perceives as choice as his players. In fact, gutted pal. I know. Let me mention about Daniel Taylor. Like I said, he is a Forest fan. Do you think his emotions has got to him, and he just thought, oh, let me say this about Forest? What's your opinion on that? you think his emotions got to him too much, and he just put it out?
I don't think so, Ben. I think the guy's quite a professional guy. He works for a responsible sort of paper. I think there might be a little bit of an agenda there, because there usually is. Not just with Daniel Taylor, in the big wide world, that's what journalism's about. And I think there's probably something been said somewhere that's upset him and made him think this is the time to do it. When you talk about emotions after the game, if we'd have done this 4 hours ago, we'd have been all over the place, wouldn't we? We'd have been swearing and shouting, and we want this and that out, because we didn't believe it, don't we? So I think Taylor, he's been in the thick of it for so long. It's going to upset him. It's going to upset Johnny Owen and Nick Randall.
It's been me personally. Everyone's upset. Every Forest fan's upset as motion. I just feel like, yes, everyone wants to know. I want to mention about the Foles and Guy Budlock that went to speak to the Johnny Owen, CEO, and everyone. I don't know. Has anyone read what they said?
Yeah.
Des, do you think what? I need to be careful what I say. The Guy Budlock, I like what they do, but I just feel they need to talk to Forest fans more if they want to be that gap between the Forest lot and the fans. And I just don't think they've said as much to us, because they mentioned about they spoke to the CEO for 3 minutes. But what did he say? What did he say? Would you want to know what he said?
Of course, Ben, and I think what's almost happening again is the Daniel Taylor thing, isn't it, from the start of the season? So we've been fed snippets of information, comments that a meeting's taken place, or this has happened, or that's happened, and it's just we're trying to feed off it, and most people are adding 2 and 2 and coming up with 17. It's just what's actually been said. We all want to know what's been said, and I know they've said something today. I follow a few of the guys through social media, and they've said something along the lines of we want the club to speak, which is fair enough. Who's
going to speak though? Who's going to speak? That's my problem. Who's going to speak?
Exactly. And that was my thoughts when I read it. The club aren't going to speak, are they? Because they've made a point in the last 4 years of not coming out and speaking. So until they actually do it, until somebody tells us what's going on and tells us what was said in these meetings with fans who we like Forza Garibaldi, we like what they stand for, but we want to be part of it as well. We all want to be part of it. We've all got opinion. We all feel it on a Saturday afternoon. So it's important, if they are sort of saying something, we need to know what they're saying.
Because it just frustrates me. I like Greg a lot. Like I said, I spoke to him. I've worked with him in Sky Sports, and I want more. Every Forest fan are passionate about the club, but just don't think. I think we want more. I think he was with even the post guy. I think he's Matt, and I've seen his little bit, and I didn't get nothing out of that. I didn't get nothing out of it, and I want more. But with Forest fans, it's frustrating. I don't know. It's sad. Is anyone sad to see you're talking about what's happened with Forest?
Well, it's sad, isn't it, that we're questioning Forza Garibaldi for a start, because 2-3 years ago they were doing all these amazing things, and what's happened is everything's, the manager's wrong, the players are wrong, the CEO's wrong, and it's almost creating this infighting a little bit, isn't it? It's getting our backs up, because we want to know more information as football fans. We want to know it yesterday. So if Forza Garibaldi are going to a meeting and speaking about coming out and saying they've been to a meeting, well, tell us what's happened then.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's my argument, like my angle with Forza, because like I said, it's all right putting. I think they put a long essay on Twitter and saying, it's positive signs. As Forest fans, we want to hear it. We don't want to hear the Forest lot or they're doing something positive. I don't want to hear that nonsense. I'm a Forest fan. Like any people who are watching this, they want to hear everything. Lou just mentioned a question like the Supporters Trust. Des, do you think the Forest lot going to say something, anything different to the Forest lot, to the Supporters Trust?
No, and I've got a big issue, Ben, with the Supporters Trust. You know, I don't know as much as I probably should do about it. So I'll say that for the.
I don't know nothing about it. I don't know, like I said, all I know that they're the gap between Forest, the Supporters Trust, and Forest are there somewhere. But
and that's what kind of worries me again, because we know how much we put into Forest. We live and breathe it. We read it. We're looking for information all the time. How do we not know this line of sort of communication? How do we not know what the Supporters Trust are there for properly? You know, it's been there for quite a while now. You know, and they say you go to the website, and I've been, and it's a bit of a blurb, and you sort of. And then they come out with the sort of party line of what the club have said, and even Forza Garibaldi questioned that. You know, you probably trust a little bit more Forza Garibaldi because they're genuine lads, they're fans, they feel it like us. When you look at the Supporters Trust, you almost feel like people have been placed in a position. You know, we want people who live and breathe it and feel it, and if the emotion gets a little bit raw, like Forza Garibaldi, then that's what we want to see sometimes.
Yeah. Lee, what's your opinion, Lee? Like, I know both you, Lee, and you really living in that Nottingham. What's your opinion on the guy Boulder and the Supporters Trust?
I'll be honest. I don't know a great deal about. I mean, obviously, I know who they are, and you know, with the boats and the flags, and I think they do a fantastic job in that regard. But that's all I really know of them for is the flags and the banners and the boats that they put and all that. Really. And I know they do. I know they do good stuff, but I probably don't know the ins and outs of it all.
What about you, Stephen? Do you think
I'm the same. Sorry, yeah, I'm the same with Lee. I don't know that much about it, but what I would say about all this going on at the moment, it's kind of strange. When we were under Fawaz, we were laughing at it. That was always in our face. He was tweeting. He was coming up with some ridiculous stuff, and we could see how badly the club was being run.
That's a good point.
But now it's more secretive, and we are scratching our heads going, what is going on behind the scenes? But unlike under Fawaz, we could see it with our own eyes. But now we kind of go in, well, what's wrong? We just don't know. And Ben, you made a good point. We want to know what's being said. There's no point just telling us it's all positive and then not saying nothing at all.
I think and that's my problem. Like as a Forest fan, a passionate Forest fan, like everyone else is. We want to know, but I'm just sick and tired of people saying.
What I would say though is I think the players though they need to put all that behind them and they just need to do on the pitch. That's what they get paid to do.
I personally think when it comes to players, when I think Joe Warren mentioned it, like they're all not friends. They're not friends, and that's why we've got people from like Olympiacos, Cafu, and Guerrero. We've got the French lot as well. We just last season from this season is so completely different.
Have you noticed when they come off the bus? You know, when you see like the live and they come off the bus, you notice there's like little cliques. You got like Knockaert and Christie together, and Arthur. And you've got the Olympiacos guys, and you've got like maybe Worrell and Lolly. You've got little pockets of cliques, and I think they're all just kind of talking to each other, who knows who, and they're not kind of mingling.
I suppose, you know what, I did spot that as well. It's just with like I said, Joe Wall said they should be saying some home truths about what's happening. I think it's all nonsense. I think I put like I'm just angry. I don't know what to say. I'm just really angry. But yeah, lads. Right. Last question because I've got so many people want to come on. What's next?
I still think though. I know you're angry, mate, but I still think I don't think we've been playing horrendously the last few weeks. I mean, we've been playing some really good sides, and I don't think there's been a massive amount. And I think if we'd been playing anybody else, we would have got something. It's a big game on Wednesday because we're playing a side that's down there. There's no excuses really. But I think if we play the way we did in the last week or so since the Watford game, if we play like that against Sheffield Wednesday, I'd like to think we'll get a result. If we don't, then it's going to be really,
it's going to be. Like I said, I think
bomb time.
Do you know what? Do you know what I feel, Ben? I was thinking earlier, what is the problem? We're all trying to put a finger on the problem, and what feels different for me. I'm a bit more negative than what you've just said, Lee. I appreciate we could probably turn this around and go on a run and finish mid-table, you know. But for me, there's too many issues throughout the club. Normally, you've got a bad team, or you've got a bad manager, or you've got Fawaz going off in the background doing his thing. Do you know?
You know what? Fawaz is still chirping on Twitter. He's still chirping on Twitter about the Forest thing as well.
Yeah. But now it seems like we've got so many issues within the club. It's all interlinked, and if it doesn't sort itself out quickly, it's going to be quick. Well, it's 2 weeks from Christmas. It's going to be January. Do you know? And if we don't get the right players in again, and if if Grabban leaves, for example, and Taylor gets injured, you're in a mess. You're just absolutely in a mess, and that's what's really worrying. That there's numerous problems, rather than having a bad manager, having a bad side, or having Fawaz doing his thing. You know, and it just needs some sort of clarification of where it's all going. It needs putting together.
Like last question, and one of you can ask him. I think Forest is the 7 players we've brought in 3 years. Who has been your player that's stuck out for you since we took over from the Greeks? Start with Lee.
And Matty Cash last season, and he came through the academy.
Matty Cash. Okay. Des.
Again, Matty Cash. Do you know Joe Lolly? Joe Lolly's been he's been there. Do you know, throughout, and Grabban, he scored the goals. You know, we've not had that kind of player for a long time. But without being boring, they're the ones, aren't they? They're the fixtures almost. If you're picking an 11, of course not.
Matty Cash, Ben Watson, Joe Lolly. Ben Watson is, well, it just shows how much we're missing him. I think he was great.
He hardly ever gave the ball away last season, did he? No. You'd watch him at times, and he was just a pleasure. He would just ping them left, right. He would just, or he'd just keep it ticking out, and he was such a good player, Ben Watson.
You know, every game I watch now, Ben Watson's a better player. You remember him as a better player. Do you know, some of the things that Arter, who I just snapped your hand off for 6 months ago, he can't get near Ben Watson, and Ben Watson's playing in League One.
I remember when Arter scored that goal against us for Fulham.
Yeah,
at the front end, brilliant. And I remember sitting there thinking, well, I wouldn't give to have somebody like him in the team. And he's been such a disappointment. He really has.
You know what? When we signed Archer, I was one of fans. I thought, what a player with experience, and I thought he's a player that can replace Ben Watson. And
I can't work out what he is. I can't work out if he's a tackler, a passer, if he gets forward, if he's a scorer. I can't work out what type of midfielder he is. At least with Colback, you know, he's going to sit there and break things up. But I can't work out what Arter is from the games he's played.
Arter is a box-to-box player, isn't he?
Well, as high as he can. He kicks it up in the air all the time.
Yeah, really disappointing.
Yeah. Right, lads, before you do go, we've got Sheffield Wednesday on Tuesday. We need a big performance. I'll start with you, Lee. What's your prediction for Wednesday's game?
Well, it's two sides that can't score goals for toffee, so I'm going to say 2-0 to Forest.
What? You score a goal, even win. Okay, Des, what's your prediction?
I think if Forest get the first goal, we'll have enough to hold on, and I think 1-0, like 1-0 could get the ball rolling again, and I think we could nick it against Wednesday. Like Lee said, they can't score, so if we can be strong and nick one, we could take the 3 points.
Stephen, what's your prediction for Tuesday's game?
I'm going to go a bit more negative. I'm going to go 1-1. I think we're going to go 1-0 up, and I think they're going to score a scrappy goal at the end. Tony Pulis, lump it in the box, and then they're just going to, set piece, Jordan Rhodes, back in net.
Oh, great. Yeah. God, I'm so tired.
I don't think we'll lose against them, but I don't think we'll beat them.
You know what? Before you do, Des, go. I know you've got a YouTube channel. Can you speak about it? Because Des has got a channel, and if you do want to subscribe to the channel, the link is below. So, Des, before you go, what is your channel?
Yeah, just very quickly, guys. Basically, what I do here in Nottingham, I've got like a community interest company where I encourage activity, and I talk about. I try and touch on mental health, not in a strong way, not in a sort of full-on way. Just how I'm getting on every day. It's just like a daily vlog. 10 minutes in the evening at 6 o'clock. Do you know I put it on for? And it's just me talking about how I feel. The roller coaster we're all going on through COVID. Forest. You know, match day. I mentioned how it's going and all those things, and it's just somewhat light-hearted. I've got a sort of running base group here where I invite people to come along, but it's a little bit more than that. It relates into everything I'm doing on a daily basis. So it's just something light-hearted. If you can subscribe to it, you know, and just check it out. It's just me yapping away about everything.
Listen to me. It's always to have a good yap, because, like I said, my channel is for people like yourself and Lee and Stephen. Have your opinion about Forest, and this one I'm doing it. Like I said, we know you're all in lockdown, but it's good to have people like yourselves talking about Forest. Everyone's angry. Every Forest fan's angry at this moment of time. Will it stop? I really don't know. But Lee, Des, and Stephen, thank you very much for coming on. I've got so many people who want to come on as well, but I thought I'd stick with you three first. But yes, hopefully we can get a performance on Tuesday. It's Tuesday? Tuesday we're playing them, aren't we?
Wednesday on Tuesday, yeah.
right. But, boys, thank you for coming on. I will be getting other people on. But yeah, boys, thank you for coming on, and I'll speak to you lot soon.
Cheers, then. See you.
Cheers. Cheers. Thank you. Right, so that was the boys. Right, let me try and get if I can get other people on. I'll try and get other people on. If they want to come on, they can come on. To watch today's game. What's their opinion about Forest? I won't be long because I'm getting my dinner soon. So if people, right, 1 minute, just one sec, people. Yeah, that's the one. I've got my drink. What? What? I'll tell you now. Right, right. Sorry about that. My food's cold. Right, who should I get on? I've got Dylan Astle. Wants to come on? Hello, Dylan.
Hello, mate.
Hello, how you doing? Right, let me get more people on it. Luke's on here as well. And who else is there? Who's this one? Right, let me start with you. Well, let's start with Dylan, and I'll start with you, Luke. Dylan, I get on. Today's performance. How do you feel? Come on.
Shocking. First half, shocking. Second half, too late. First half was shocking. Second half was.
Keep talking, Dylan. Keep talking.
All right. First half was shocking, as per usual. Then the second half, when we go 1-0 down, we seem to pick up again. And decide to start playing a game.
Sorry, Dylan. Sorry. Right, what are you saying, Dylan?
Just saying again. First half, shocking. Second half, when we go 1-0 down, decide, we've got a football match here to win or try and get something out of, then they start to pick up and do something. But not good enough.
Not good enough. What player disappointed you today?
I'd say all of them to a certain degree, apart from Taylor. I feel very, very, very sorry for Taylor at the minute because you can see he's so frustrated.
Yeah.
Every little ball he's getting, little knock he's getting, anything. They're just surrounding him. He's got no help.
Oh. Where's Luke gone? I don't know where Luke's gone. I think he's gone. Today, like, we Knockout got sent off as well. Figueiredo is suspended. What players? Who would you place? Who would you place? Figueiredo, Dawson, or Sale?
Well,
sorry, Luke. Don't worry about Luke.
Well, Figueiredo at the minute is a liability. So he is at times. He is a good central defender, but at the minute, every time he seems to get near the ball, you seem to squint away from him to think, oh, what's he going to do here? Yeah. So, but I'd give Michael Dawson a run because, but they were saying on radio he wasn't even in the squad, so they think he's picked up another injury.
So that means we've got to play. Is it Saul now? So
yeah. Why not? He used to play for PSG. All right.
But that means nothing to deliver because, like I said, he's signed for PSG. And how many games he's played? He's played two. He played 2 games. I think it's Huddersfield and for Forest he plays Huddersfield and I think it was Bristol City he played. And since then he's not even got a sniff in the first team.
No.
So
he's a young lad, isn't it?
Yeah, he's
only 19, isn't he?
Yeah, he's only 19 years old.
Exactly.
Luke, what was your opinion on today's game?
I just thought it was a continuation on the past few games, to be honest. It's been kind of a lot of play around their opposition box, but we can't do a lot with it. And the Celtics be a defensive team that can't defend.
I was just saying to Dylan, like Figueiredo's out for Tuesday's game. Who would you replace him?
My actual preference would be Mbaye because although Dawson will give us the experience, you've already got Joe Worrell there that's been learning off Michael Dawson for a few seasons now. So maybe having Worrell with Mbaye might just give us a bit more mobility. And we only played him for 2 games, and we have got this intensity to make a decision of just kind of a couple of games. Like that's our opinion of him for the player for however long it is. Like Gaetan Bong, we made a decision off the Charlton game, and he's only just started getting appearances again.
Knockout got sent off as well. Do you think it's time to give Mighton a chance, or?
Yes,
definitely.
Yes, definitely. I think it's been 3 or 4 games too late, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, mate.
Carry on.
Well, with Mighton played a lot under Sabri. And he looks fast. He looks pacey. He come on the other night. He looks like he wants to run and stuff like that. Why not give him a chance? Because the rest of them are not doing it. What we got to lose?
I know. I was asking the lads about Lewis Graben. He's out injured. I personally feel sorry for.
He's gone, mate. He's gone.
Oh, Dylan knows why.
Have you ever watched right? Have you ever watched the documentary on Sunderland when he was there? And as soon as he couldn't get a game or he was being taken off a sub, he threw his toys out the pram. Where now he's at Forest and he knows he's the main man because he scored 20 goals and all this. Do you know what I mean? Do you think they brought Taylor in? Do you know what I mean? Maybe fancying Taylor. Do you think he's not chucked his toys out the pram, and all of a sudden Sabri's come up and said, "Oh, I'll take you to Qatar," blah blah blah, and he's gone, "Oh, I'm this age. Do you know what I mean? I could get a bit of dollar." Do you know what I mean? And then mysteriously he's got a hip injury.
You know what, Dylan? He's spot on. Like I say, I think he's 34, 33, 34. He's like I said, I think he's a top striker. You can't doubt.
Oh, definitely.
Striker. But I was asking the boys, would you bring in another striker in January? Just when if Graben does leave,
Yeah, I would.
who would you bring in, Luke? Who would you bring in, Luke?
I mean, that's a hard question because, like,
It's not a hard question. It's an easy question.
is it an easy question? Like,
It's an easy question.
I mean, you lot were saying Jordan Rhodes, but I don't particularly agree because he's not really playing that much for Sheffield Wednesday. And
Striker.
Get him on loan.
Get him on loan.
Don't we need somebody different to?
Michael, you told me from the Championship or League One, League Two that can get us out of this mess because I like Lau Taylor. I feel sorry for it. I feel sorry for Taylor because players like Knockhard, Lolly, Abiobi, they're not giving him support. And like with Taylor's attitude, he's gonna get angry and then you're gonna see the bad side of him because he's not getting the support. So
you can see it already. You can see it already when he's on.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yes, but
he was sold a pipe dream. If you ever heard his interview a few weeks ago, he was sold a pipe dream that never happened.
You're on about was it that podcast?
Yeah, where he says that Sabri spent 2 hours with him and promised him and Graben will play up front together. First game of the season, Graben played. He was on the bench.
Yeah, I think. There's a quick question for both of you, right? Like when last season we played one of the best football we had under Lemucci. Do you this used to them? Do you miss him? Yes or no?
Who?
Lemucci.
No.
Do you miss him?
No, I think he was a puppet.
Really? What?
Mm-hmm. He had the players. He had the. If you look back to it, a year ago, yes, we were winning games. Yes, we was near the top. We was in the top 6. We were winning 1-0s, 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 1-0s. But down to it, you think about it. If you look back a year ago, this was probably in the making because we was just hanging on for 1-0s and everyone was happy because we were getting 3 points and we're getting up the league.
But would you be happy with 1-0? I would. I'd be happy.
No. Definite now, yes.
Get it out, Glenn. Come on, get it out.
Yeah, definitely. I'll take a 1-0 now. Do you know what I mean? I'll take it coming off the backside of the ref.
But that's how Lemucci played. Like when Lemucci got sacked and Chris Hughton come in, everyone got all jolly about it. Oh, Chris Hughton's a fantastic manager of his record. But he plays exactly the same as Lemucci. But look at us now. Look at us now, right now. We're not doing.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying, and I've said it to you before in the past. He plays the same as Lemucci, but you've got to, like someone said to me, because if you look back at Chris Hughton, what he's done at Newcastle, what he's done at Brighton and stuff like that, he favours a 4-4-2. Yeah?
Yeah.
But he's tried the 4-4-2 situation, and it hasn't worked at times. So maybe he's looking at the squad, because he knows the squad better than we do. We only see him for 90 minutes, 2 to 3 times, 1 or 2 times a week. He wants to play a certain style of football. He wants to play a certain way, certain thing. Has he got the players to be able to get that across? So is that why he's still sticking with what they were playing? Like, it frustrates me every time I see the team sheet with one up front, Taylor on his own. Why? I'm not bothered if you put Guerrero with him or put Will Swan with him.
Yeah. That's I think what game was? I think it was Country when I think it was Country and Wickham, and we played Guerrero and Taylor. And that partnership was fantastic.
And we won both games.
Both games, and I don't understand why it's so defensive. People are not going to go on Hughton's back because of his record, and I'm not slagging him off if people think I am, because I'm not. He's a fantastic manager. He might need time. Do I think this January window is going to help him? No, because we brought in 14 players. Forest fans need to remember we are dealing with FFP. That's what we're dealing. We're going to be careful with. And Luke, I'll ask you a question. Right, if Forest had to bring in, I don't know, 2 or 3 players, what players that will need to come in? Will need to come in?
See, for me, it's not about who's coming in, because we have signed all different types of players within the past 3 seasons and have had the same problems. We need to change the way we play. We cannot set up, play a defensive style and expect us to not concede more goals than we score. If we're going to win games, we have to go out to win the game instead of going out not to get beat. It's the mentality of the club that's the problem, not who's actually at the club. And it's about getting the best out of the players that are already here. There will be a way of getting the best out of Harry Arter, out of Anthony Knockaert, out of Lyle Taylor, because they don't just become bad players. It's just they are lacking confidence, and they just look totally lost in the system they are playing. So why aren't we looking to play to the system that works for the players we have got?
Question. I got a Derby fan on here. There's a couple of Derby fans on here. Question. Hi, Dor. I've been watching Pete from Derby Fan TV. Prick. I'm a subscriber and regular viewer from this channel. Both clubs don't deserve to be in a situation we belong in the question. No, you don't. Derby deserve to be in League One. Thank you for the question, Rap. Opinion on Derby. Who wants this? Dylan or Luke? Not Dylan. Give it you, Dylan. What's your opinion on Derby?
What's my opinion on Derby? I ain't got one. I don't listen. Good
answer. Great answer. That's it. Done.
No, you kind of look. Do you know what I mean? All right, they're all right, biggest rivals and stuff. Mate, they've had the biggest. Do you know what I mean? We think we're in trouble. Do you know what I mean? They've been knocking on the door for God knows how many years and still not got there. I'm not. Do you know what I mean? I'm not getting into a war. I don't want to get into a war with them because I've got Derby friends. I've got friends who are Derby fans. You know what I mean? And we have your little banter and stuff like that at the end of the day. But it's just do you know what I mean? They're going through a transition, whatever they're doing. Do you know what I mean? Takeover. And is there a takeover? Is there not? Who's going to be the manager? Who's not? Do you know what I mean? Whatever. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, as long as we finish above them, that's all that matters.
And this is the worst thing about it. Like I think it was, is it 6 defeats and 7, and we're still not in the bottom 3, and Derby is still in there. Why? I don't understand. Why there's so much Derby fans coming on my stream? Because I know Derby fan TV.
Because you're good.
I think I'm good looking. I'm better looking than Pete. So that...
I won't go that right. I've known you for years, mate.
Luke. Where do you go from here? What's your opinion? What do you think? Forest are in deep trouble. Do you think we're definitely in this relegation fight?
We're definitely in a relegation fight because that's where we are on the table. I mean, the table doesn't lie. We're there on the games we have played and our performances and how many goals we've scored to how many we've conceded and what our results have been. The way we go is stop playing players that consistently make errors. Cyrus Christie, Tobias Figueiredo. I know he's suspended for 1 game, but that didn't stop Ryan Yates coming back in. He's made quite a few errors. It's like
he's a monster, mate. If you watch him off the ball,
you know what? Right, people in the comment section as well. Like Ryan Yates has been given so much stick, and as well, I'm gonna ask you, Dylan. Do you think Ryan Yates deserves all this stick that he's getting?
No, not necessarily. Do you know who he reminds me of? And he doesn't play in the same position as him, and he's probably not as aggressive as him. But he reminds me of Stuart Pearce, because if you watch him off the ball, he spends more time grabbing, wrestling with players. There was one earlier where he just walked up to a player and just barged into him and knocked him off the ball. Do you know what I mean? He was in Tony's. He was in. Is it Tony's face?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
pushing. If you watch him in a game, yeah. Sometimes I think to myself, what is he doing? Do you know what I mean? There's some passes and that, because I think he should be played further up with being a young lad energy. But if you watch him off the ball, he ruffles the opponent's players so much, and they get so frustrated. And then everyone looks at him, and he's just like a little kid going, "What? I ain't done nothing."
Exactly. Yeah. You know what? I like Ryan Yates because I think since the start of the season, I think we are where we are. But he's the one that gives us passion. People talk about Joe Wall when Joe Wall was injured. People wanted him back. He's come back, and I like him. I like Joe Wall. They know Nottingham Forest inside out, and with all these foreign players that are coming from left, right, centre, Ryan Yates gets the most stick from everyone, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah, the reason I said Ryan Yates was because he does make a lot of errors. But I was going to go on to say, at this moment in time, if the other option would be a Cafu or a Sal or even a Colback, for example, playing in that position, I'd still want Yates to be in the side. But obviously, you can't play Colback and Yates together because that clearly doesn't work.
Yeah.
We've tried so many times. We tried it with Colback and Watson. It's just something about playing Colback with another defensive midfielder just doesn't work because you get two same players, and you need variety in your midfield, and that's what we're lacking. We don't have anybody that can get the ball and drive through the middle.
We have got them; they just don't want to do it at the minute.
That's true, Dan.
Always that.
Well, look. Just to mention it again, just look at the player like Amiobi, Joe Lolly. Yeah, all right. Joe Lolly's had a bad few games. He's a whatever, and he did it last season. Oh, I can remember it last season. Oh, Joe Lolly's not on form. He's not there. As soon as he hits a goal, bang! Next minute he goes from there up to there.
Yeah.
We've not seen it. We've not this season. I think the problem this season, like everyone's getting frustrated with him. We've not seen it, and I don't want to mention it. I think he's got personal stuff outside of football that might be affecting him. Well, I'd like to say the first off, he really frustrated me because everyone knows Joe Lloyd's a fantastic player. Yeah. I just don't. I think he's getting predictable. Everyone knows what he's doing. So
well, they do. He drops it. You know what I mean? He's on the wing. He drops his left shoulder. Boom! He's straight onto his left side. That's the type of player he is. He's like a knockout. If you agree, you watch knockout. He frustrates me. He frustrates me so much because he gets the ball.
You can go back to Fulham.
Well, I don't know because he gets the ball and he runs with it, and then you think right then pass, and then he doesn't because he thinks he's like when he's been brought on at half time and stuff. I've been brought on here to sort this team out, so I'm the one who's to. Do you know what I mean? To boss the game, which he has. He's turned the games around to a certain degree.
But I mentioned about the drive through the middle. You then went on and listed all the players who play out wide. If you take any of those players from the wide positions and put them down the middle, you then lose an option out wide, which we've only got 4 wingers. And, well, 3 wingers if you're not going to play Alex Myson. So, in effect, you're saying you're going to play Knockout, Lolly, and Amiobi across behind the striker. And that leaves you with making Myton's change as your change of winger because you're always going to make one change out wide.
Right, last question, guys. Like I said, I've asked the boys about the game on Tuesday against Sheffield Wednesday. Dylan, what's your prediction for the game? Against a team that's in the bottom 3.
That means nothing, though. That means nothing to Forest in a minute. I would hope a 1, maybe 2-0 win. Do you know what I mean? But with everything that's been said today with Worrell, what he said on the radio, has that not now? That's either going to go 2 ways. That's either going to lift the players and basically they've spoke about it before he come out on air and they've told some home truths, or he's ruffled the feathers and there's going to be a massive, even a bigger board divide. So this is where the game. I think this game, Sheffield Wednesday, we lose.
We're in trouble.
Yeah, we're in deep anyway. But it's like just a quick one before we go, because I've got some. Right, we've got 28 games to go.
Yeah.
Right, and still 84 points to play for.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? And they reckon it's 40 points to survive. So, there's always that silver lining. But I think I don't want Houghton to go, because who are you going to replace him with? You got another turmoil and all this. But I seriously think if we do not pick a win up on Tuesday night, I think he may go.
Do you really think you'll go?
I think he will, because if you can't beat the bottom of the league team and we play as bad as we have been playing,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What now with what there'll be 81 points still to play for. Then they think they hit the panic button, don't they? Right, we've got to get someone in who's going to be more attacking minded. Do you know what I mean? I've seen a few things on social media today saying that bring Sam Allardyce in, do you know what I mean? But we need a manager. Not saying that Houghton's not the manager, because I like him, but if he's preparing for the future, it's not the future we need at the minute. It's survival we need.
Survival.
It's the quickest to 40 points at the end of the day now.
100%. 100%. So what was your score today for 2-0?
I'll go 2-0.
Luke, what was your score?
I'm going to be very pessimistic. I'm going to go for a 1-0 loss, because everybody else predicted a win.
What?
Or
Luke, get out of here. Get out of it. 1-0 loss.
He's probably the one talking the most sense out of both of us.
Well, I predicted a win or a draw on all my other videos and got it wrong. So I'm trying something different on your stream, see if we actually do the opposite.
Yeah. Luke, before you do go, talk about your channels. I'll put your link in below so people can subscribe to it.
Yeah, basically called Turton Talks Football, and as well as doing match previews, team reaction videos, and match reviews, I also interview other fans on kind of past and present issues within one video. I interviewed Punch F41 the other week, and I've just done an interview of a Millwall fan, so that should be going up soon. So yeah, that's basically it, really.
Right, Dylan and Luke, I've got one person in, but yeah, thank you for coming in, Dylan. I know everyone's a bit down, but we need.
It's all right, mate. I'm going to watch the boxing now, and Joshua's going to knock him out, so I'll be after.
Oh, damn, that's one, isn't it? Right, I've got one person, but Dylan, Luke, thank you for coming on, and hopefully we get a better result on Tuesday.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers, boys. Thank you very much.
See you later.
Cheers, Dylan. Right, let me get one more. Keith on. Hello, Keith.
Hey, how you doing? You all right?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. It's horrible at the moment.
How did you feel about today's game?
Well, my dad fell asleep within 35 minutes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's horrible, Dore. Like, this is the worst season I've watched so far in my entire.
How old are you?
I'm 23, but I've been watching Forest for about 10 seasons.
So you right because I don't want to use your age as an excuse, right? Are you you must be frustrated as a Forest fan. You've not seen success, have you?
Well, it's annoying at the minute because Billy Davis days, that was the best I've ever watched.
So would you bring him back then?
I don't think it'd make the difference because the team's not good enough. I just think it's just no energy, no desire, and I can only see Worrell being interested. You look at Lolly and Amiobi; they don't offer anything anymore. No, they don't. They've got no pace at all.
Do you think, like as I mentioned, Joe Lolly? I think he was shocking the first half. Do you think would you play against Sheffield Wednesday?
No, I'd drop him. Bring Martin pace.
You bring Martin for pace?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And obviously, in January, I'd bring Brennan Johnson back.
No, that's a good question, Keith. Like I saw on social media, but people need to remember. Like I can remember when people keep asking about Tyler Walker. He was doing good for Lincoln. He come back and didn't play.
Yeah.
Don't you think Brendan Johnson will come, if he did come back to Forest, will get the same treatment? Leave him Lincoln and do what he's doing there.
Well, we need energy, don't we, though? We've got no energy at all in midfield. You look at Cafu, he looked a bit lost out there in midfield today. And Yates was a bit quiet. I don't know what Samble was doing for the first goal. He just it's gone in. He didn't even make a save. What's he doing? At least make a save. You're a goalkeeper. And look at him for the third goal. He was like too scared to like go to the ball, and then it goes in.
So would you take him out for Smith?
I would, yeah. Samba's been shit this season.
But are you a fan of Smith, Jordan Smith? Are you a fan of Jordan Smith?
Well, when he was played,
that's the question, because you was getting iffy. You didn't say it straight away because you just said I asked you, are you a Jordan Smith fan? You're like, So you can't say Sam played rubbish today, and then you'd be iffy about Smith. Do you know what I mean?
It's just all a mess, isn't it? It's crazy.
2 more questions, Keith. Like I said, are you a Hooton fan?
I'm a Forest fan.
No, do you like Chris Hooton?
I like him. I like what he has done in the past. Obviously, he was at Newcastle, Brighton, the success that he had. Like, I've just been watching this stream for obviously an hour and a half. Like, I've seen people's opinions and stuff. Like, he is a long-term manager. He's not going to be someone that's going to click straight away. You look at Warburton, what he did at Forest when he first came in. Like, he did actually get his playing. And, yeah, like, he did actually put the squad down. I felt sorry for Warburton in a way, but defensively, we're a bit shit. But with Houghton, there's no attacking at all. There's two more defensive players. It's just the same old process I've had for the last 3 seasons. Martin O'Neill, Lamucci, Karanka. Even under Warburton, when he was playing 2 defensive-minded players, when he had Bridcut and Vaughan. Like, I'm just fed up with it.
I understand what I said. It's like you said you're a 23-year-old lad. You've not seen any success, but who like you said you like Lee Davis, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Don't you feel sometimes like it's going to be difficult for Forest to get in the Premiership with what's happening at this moment in time?
Well, this is going to take. I can see he's getting relegated at the moment. Like, I don't.
But you're not one. Like, are you on Twitter? You're not one.
No. Yeah.
Are you? I see people your age. I'm not trying to disrespect people. Like, if there's people your age, keeps age. I'm not trying to be negative. Like, I get it. Why you're frustrated. I understand it. But I've seen it when Forest won the UEFA Cup. I've seen it when Forest were promoted to the Premiership. I understand why people like yourself are frustrated with Nottingham Forest, like not doing nothing. But sometimes it's difficult. You vent your anger and vent your frustration about what's happening now. And at this time being, it's rock bottom. We're not in the bottom 3 yet, because we've got a team like that team from A52, they're in the bottom 3. But sometimes you've got to be. I'm not trying to preach to you. It's not like we've got a good team, we're going to get promoted. So just have faith. The good days will come. It's just when. That's all it is. It just when. Just don't take your anger.
We're all a bit fed up, aren't we?
I think everyone's a bit fed up. Like I said, I'm very active on social media. I'm very active on Twitter, and I see people's opinion, and it's fine to have an opinion.
Oh yeah,
it's good. But sometimes everyone, especially the young lads, they get frustrated and like I said, they're not seeing the good times at the City Ground. Last question. I said, what was your first game? What was your first Forest game you watched?
I think it was in League One, and my nana took me. Well, she's died now, but she took me. I think we won 4-0 against Gillingham when we was in League One. I remember Junior Gogo scoring.
Oh, I remember that game.
He was a monster of a striker. He was.
Last question, Keith.
Yeah.
I want to see the boxing.
Yeah, no worries.
Forest game on Tuesday. What do you think the score will be?
Well, not feeling particularly confident, but I'm hoping for a 1-0 Forest.
1-0 Forest.
They stay positive. We need some young legs in there. I'd like to see 2 up front with Will Swan. Even if 3 at the back, though, like me and my dad, like, are really passionate about Forest. Like we've always said, with the players that we've got, we can play 3 at the back. Look when we had Kashi last season. We had the potential to play 3 at the back with the players that we had, but it's never happened, and with any manager that we've had. But yeah,
listen, all you do is keep the faith, and it'll take time. Like I said, we're rock bottom, but
I think we need to
don't
stick
get
with.
frustrated.
I think we need to stick with Houghton for definite.
Okay. Right, Keith, I'll let you go, but thank you for coming on. You can come and tell me again next time I come on. But yeah, Keith, thank you for coming on. And
enjoy
keep the faith.
Yeah, and you, Dor. Thank you.
Right, no worries, dude. Cheers, thank you. Right, so that's Keith. But yeah, I said I'm not trying to preach the younger fans. It takes time. Like the old generation will know. Like Forest, we've seen it, especially the old lot of teams, the Europeans Cup finals. I seen it in the UEFA Cup. It was in 95, 96 under Frank Clark. I've seen him win the championship in that 98 season. So, Forest fans, just be patient and yes. But I'd like to say thank you very much for every Forest fan that come on my channel. If you are new to my channel, please do hit the like button. If you are new to the channel, do subscribe, please. It is a massive help. But like I said, I'm doing a preview. I need to mention Aaron Davis. Damn. I've got an interview with Aaron Davis soon. If you don't know who he is, he played for Yeovil. He played for Forest, but he had quite a lot of injuries. But his interview will be soon. But like I said, people, the next, I think, preview is on Monday night with a Sheffield Wednesday fan as well. I think I'm going to miss the Sheffield Wednesday game because I'm at work. I don't finish work till 8. But if you want me to do the watch along, second half, I can do the watch along. So people, I can, if you want me to come, I can. But yeah, like I said, if you enjoyed it, please do hit the like button. And I will check everyone on what can we do? Monday night, 9 o'clock. Sheffield Wednesday fan. Keep faith, Forest fans. We will come back good. Up the Forest.